Welcome into another episode of Cardinals Plus, and look who is here. It's Ahmad Hicks. He's back off paternity leave. He wasn't here to talk Cardinals baseball, but I know he was converting his little guy to a Cardinals fan already.
Absolutely.
Right?
Come on, damn in the Rams. I'm not giving up the Rams yet.
We don't need to talk about that one. This is a Cardinals show. We don't talk about traitorous
St. Louis
teams.
sports only.
Yeah, we don't talk about traitorous teams on this show. Okay. We do have to start off on a sour note, though, because the Cardinals pitching has not been very good over the last month. You just came off the set talking about it. In the last month, exactly from today, the 5th, Cardinals have allowed 112 runs.
Right.
And they've scored 112
It's
runs.
not good baseball.
You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. Pretty much up and down, it hasn't been as good. The bullpen still got those horses at the back we'll talk about in a second. But last night, Dakota Hudson was not good, and that kind of exemplified all the struggles right now.
He's been up and down this season. The Cardinals want consistency from their pitching staff. They have yet to get that main part because the guys can't stay healthy this season. But Dakota Hudson, he's battling back from a very serious injury, so you do have to remember that. But as Ali Marmol said, this is not a tryout.
Well, I mean, the least you can do is throw strikes, and Dakota Hudson is not throwing strikes. He's walking too many guys, especially when you're a guy like him. You're not striking guys out. You
Three
want
walks
to
and a hit batter
You
last
want
night.
to hit it, and you want the batters to hit it and play if you're Dakota Hudson because you got that sinker ball. It's going to go on the ground to all your Gold Glovers. So that's the main thing that's frustrating. Just watching him pitch has just been a slog lately because it's just so many balls, and it takes forever, and it's just not good.
Yeah, last night's game was not fun.
Oh, well, that was especially.
Yeah, last night's game was not fun.
That was the rain delay game if you're watching this a couple days from now, where you had to sit around and wait for like 5 hours until it ended at midnight.
This just goes back to what we said before the season started. If the Cardinals did not acquire a big bat or another strong arm for their starting rotation, this team was going to be in trouble. And here we are, almost to the All-Star break. This team has not acquired a big arm. They've not acquired a big bat, although Nolan Gorman has been doing what he's supposed to be doing, and Juan Yepes. Still not enough. You still need another superstar.
We'll get to those.
Yeah.
We'll get to those rookies. But yeah, you mentioned the injuries. Steven Matz has not been what you signed him to be.
Nope.
Jack Flaherty probably shouldn't have been too hyped up coming into the year and expected
we may or may
some
not
setbacks.
see him the rest of this year.
He says he's coming back for sure, but I think that's just a guy being positive.
He said he was coming back in 2 months during spring training. I mean,
so you can't count on Matz and Flaherty. You've got Andre Palante, who's been surprisingly good, but that's not a guy you're counting on to be as good as he has been.
No.
Miles Michaelis has been great. Adam Wainwright's been fine. But we talked about, I want to go back to our episodes at the beginning of the season. It was very glaring that this team needed more pitching. And I was practically sitting here begging for them to trade for Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas. And it wouldn't have given, at least Manaea wouldn't have cost him a whole lot to get. And he's had a pretty good year for the Padres so far. And now, we were right. They still need more pitching. And now we're in the middle of the year, guys are hurt, and it's just an even worse situation.
One person who I think deserves more attention throughout all these Cardinals up and down years is President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. I'm not putting him on the hot seat and saying he needs to be gone, but I do think the Cardinals kind of get complacent year in and year out. And I think they're content with, hey, if we make the playoffs, we lose in the first or second round, it's okay. We made it. You can't win the World Series every year. But the expectations for this franchise are so incredibly high. If you're not competing for a World Series and you haven't gotten there in so long, what are we waiting on? What are you waiting on?
They're good at the big moves.
Right.
They're good at the big moves. They get Paul Goldschmidt. I was just looking back on that trade the other day. Carson Kelly has been really bad. Luke Weaver has been bad. That looks like a great trade. The Nolan Arenado trade, obviously a great trade. You get the big cornerstones, but then you got to fill it in with the other guys.
You got to go pay some more money to complement those guys because you don't want to waste their primes. And that's what I feel like we're doing with Arenado and Goldschmidt.
You've got a keystone combination there, first and third. You've got Molina, Wainwright, Pujols possibly in their last season. This is the year to go for it, and it feels like they just haven't gone all the way. You're trying to plug holes with Drew Verhagen and Aaron Brooks and T.J. McFarland, who was great last year and has just been really bad this year.
I get you can't win the World Series every year, but it's been a long time, St. Louis. A long time. The Cardinals need to be competitive, and Mozeliak needs to make a move.
They need some pitching at the deadline for sure. The relievers have been good overall.
They have been,
but there is some concern coming. The 10th best bullpen ERA in baseball. But
their arms
that's
be
mostly,
good.
Well, that's mostly Ryan Helsley, Giovanni Gallegos, and Genesis Cabrera, who's just coming off the IL. And you can't wear those guys out too much.
We saw that last year.
And just personally, you know what? Giovanni Gallegos a great pitcher, but every time he comes into the game, I know it's going to be an extra 45 minutes tacked onto the game. It drives me nuts because he's the slowest worker in baseball.
He is.
But that is a good three-headed combination at the back, but you got to find guys to bridge that, and it didn't work with Verhagen and some of these other guys. Oviedo's looked better. James Nail is a cool story. Were you back? I don't know if you were back yet.
Was not back
you were
yet.
Not back yet. Kid from Missouri, down near Cape Girardeau, comes up, gives us a bunch of great quotes over there, of course. Has a great first time coming into the game. Grew up a Cardinal fan with posters of Yachty and Wainwright together on his wall, and now he's teammates with them.
That's amazing.
So he's been a great story, but he's also been really good. He's pitched 4 2/3 innings, so not a whole lot. Hasn't allowed a run yet, so maybe he can be a stopper there. But it's just a glaring, obvious need at the beginning of the season. They needed more pitching, and they didn't address it. And now we're sitting here a month out from the trade deadline, and they better address it, or I don't think they have much of a chance.
Do you think the Cardinals address it with a big name or just somebody that we're like, oh,
no.
okay, maybe?
I think we're going to see another John Lester, J.A. Happ
That's what I'm thinking.
type of trade to just get some innings out of the.
Because they're not going to trade any of their pieces down on the farm system. They're just not. I understand you don't want to let go of some of those guys, but at the same time, you got to give some.
I'm a huge prospect guy, and I don't want to trade any of these guys. But it comes to a point, you still have a plethora.
You can't play them all.
You got a plethora of outfielders again.
Can't play them all.
No.
Carlson, O'Neill, Brendan Donovan, Yepes.
Burleson down in the minors.
Play all those guys. Gomez,
Harrison Bader.
So it's just like
somebody's got to be expendable at some point to fill a need. Madison Bumgarner's probably going to be available with the Diamondbacks. We'll see how.
That's another John Lester trade.
No, he's better than that.
Do you think he makes
Well, the thing about that is the money. The Cardinals have to probably pick up. He's got a decent contract.
Come on, the Cardinals are cheaper than I am. Like, come on now.
That's what I'm saying. That would be the sticking point. All right, let's move on a little bit. We'll stop ragging on the Cardinals and their pitching woes as of late. Let's talk about the AllStar Game coming up here in just a few weeks. Goldschmidt and Arenado, they're in the finalist vote. The AllStar Game vote is weird this year.
It really is.
It's weird this year. It's phase 2. So there's 2 finalists. You've got Goldschmidt going against Pete Alonso and Arenado going against Manny Machado. You get a vote between those 2 for the starting spot. I feel really good about Paul Goldschmidt, even though, I don't know, those Mets fans could get all passionate all of a sudden. But Goldschmidt is leading the National League in average on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, hits, runs, OPS plus, and total bases. So Paul Goldschmidt has to be your first base starter. Otherwise, there's something seriously wrong. He did have the most votes in that first phase, but it doesn't carry over, so you got to vote again for a couple days.
I think Goldschmidt's going to be a starter. I think we can lock that in. Arenado, his
that
play
go
speaks
either
for
way.
itself. Yeah, I think that can go either way, but I think if he's not a starter, he's definitely on the team.
He's definitely there, especially after this last couple of weeks where he's just been red hot. Actually, according to Baseball Reference, the Cardinals have 3 players in the top 4 in the National League in wins above replacement for this year.
Okay, who are the players?
The other one, Goldschmidt's second. Sandy Alcantara, who used to be a Cardinal, is first. Paul Goldschmidt's second.
Yep.
Tommy Edman is third.
And
Nolan Arenado is fourth. Tommy Edman couldn't get any help in that first round of the shortstop balloting, which I thought was a shame.
Yeah, because he's really a stud all around.
You just put him out there, and he'll do it.
He's
been through a little bit of a stretch, a lean stretch here. They moved him down the lineup, so hopefully they can kickstart that. But there's a ton. It's crazy. We're talking about second-place Cardinals who have all these problems. But then you look at the roster, and they've got like 5 or 6 guys deserving of an all-star nod. Miles Michaelis having the best year of his career so far, even better than a couple years ago when he was great. Ryan Helsley has a .83 ERA. He's only allowed 3 runs this season.
That's crazy.
50 strikeouts in 32 2/3 innings. He's definitely deserving, but those reliever spots are weird because everybody has to get every team has to have at least 1 player on the All-Star team. So the Cardinals can't be sending like 5 or 6 guys.
Those days are past.
They are. And then there's the really interesting one, Albert Pujols. Final year. This is one of the best players of all time.
Absolutely.
I think he's got to be there. He's got to be there. Okay, here, Ahmad. Tell the. All right, well, hold on a second. Oh, hold on, I'm messing things up. There we go. Tell the camera why Albert Pujols is not.
We love Albert Pujols, right?
Yeah.
His history of what he's done for this game, unmatched. You cannot dispute that. 189, 601 OPS, 4 home runs, and we're talking about an All-Star bid.
He's one of the greatest players of all time.
In St. Louis, we are biased for Albert Pujols. I think he deserves all the curtain calls. I think he deserves all the standing ovations when he visits these parks for the final time. But he is not an all-star, and he does not deserve an all-star bid.
Oh, come on, man.
He does not deserve an all-star bid. Now, if you want to make him an honorary captain, somebody just to show up, wave his cap, I think he fits that. But all-star player, absolutely not. I mean, I love the guy, and I'm not going to talk bad on him. But last night, the Cardinals, bases loaded, 1 out. Nolan Arenado strikes out. Pujols comes up. 15 home runs in his career with the bases loaded, but last night he chopped it back to the pitcher. So it's like he's not an all-star this year. That's just a fact.
I think he might. So hold on, I messed up. There we go. The commissioner's office has a say in who is an all-star. It'd just be great for the game.
If that's the case, why don't you call Yachty then too?
Well, okay,
right,
so
here we go. Here we go.
There's different levels here.
There
are some Cardinal fans who would say, Yachty and Albert both deserve. There's different levels here. Yachty's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure, but Albert's on a different level of Hall of Famer, and he should be there for one last time. I want to see him do the home run derby.
I was just about to say, let him do the home run derby.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I'm sure he would make it a show.
That would be a lot of fun.
He'll be gas.
We'll see.
That's very tiring.
All right. We've talked a lot about the rookies this year, but we got to keep talking about them because that's kind of the story of this season so far. Without the rookies coming some of them out of nowhere, the Cardinals would be a lot further back than they are in the Central.
It's so funny you say that because when I was down in spring training, I was looking at some of these players at spring training, and I'm like, who is that guy? I'm like, I've read about you before, but I'm like, who is that guy? And then they come up there. Brendan Donovan, for example. Yeah. I saw him everywhere down in Jupiter, and I'm like, this guy looks like a ball player. He's in the big league clubhouse, but I'm like, I don't know much about him. And, of course, he comes up, and he's just shining. And it's just like, these guys, man, they've been waiting on this moment.
Donovan's only played in 61 games. We're halfway through the season, and he's got the 4th most WAR on the team after those 3 guys who are in the top 5 that I just said. So he's been amazing. He's got to be in the lineup every day.
11 home
Juan
runs.
Yepez. It feels like he's going to hit a home run every game.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like
it makes you think, why did some of these players not break with the team?
He'll have because they had a bunch of other plans, like I have written down here. Corey Dickerson was supposed to be a big factor. Matt's on the pitching side was supposed to be a big factor. Albert started off looking like you were going to get more out of him.
That was just to make fans.
Doesn't look like, but he had a really good. Go back and look at his first 2 weeks. I'm sitting here defending Albert Pujols. His first 2 weeks looked like, okay, this is going to work out.
He looked like Albert Pujols.
Now he's not really getting any opportunities, and he probably doesn't deserve to at the moment. No. Then you got Nolan Gorman, who hits the ball further than probably anybody on the team.
That guy's good.
And the strikeout's still a huge issue. But
it's going to be an issue.
He's played a really good second base, better than I thought he would do.
Yeah.
And if he can hit a home run like we've seen every 10 at-bats or so, you have to put him in there.
I think he cares, and I think that's the most important thing for Cardinal fans right now because when he makes a mistake at second base, you see him beat himself up to where he's probably to the extent where he shouldn't be doing that. Nolan Arenado got on him the other night like, hey, man, it's okay. Like, just play baseball, go after the ball. But I think that's a guy he's going to strike out. This first time in the big leagues, he did kind of go up the ranks pretty quickly. So I think this is a guy we're going to see some growing pains, but you look at his upside.
It's worth it.
A lot of upside. Let him play. Let him get those growing pains out.
Without these rookies, I'm not quite sure what kind of
Cardinals
wouldn't
even be talking about the playoffs. The Cardinals wouldn't be relevant if these rookies weren't up here.
Feels like this season was kind of held together with some dreams and some Scotch tape, and it's just starting to bust at the seams right now a little bit, and they need they need something to happen.
They need a lot of help. They need their guys to get back healthy. I think if this team is healthy, you're talking about a team that's a wild card team that may make some noise if they just, hit the run at the right time.
You get a healthy Tyler O'Neill out there doing at least somewhat what he did last year. That changes everything.
That raises a lot of questions, though. When Harrison Bader comes back, when Tyler O'Neill comes back, who's leaving? Because you don't want to see a Yepez leave. You don't want to. Well, Gorman's not going anywhere, but Brendan Donovan.
Frank and I talked about this last episode when everybody's healthy. I think you got to play Carlson in center, got to play Donovan in right, and Harrison Bader's got to be sitting on the bench. I think that's what has to happen if you want the best offensive lineup, for sure.
I agree.
Because you got to put O'Neill in there because he has the potential of, we've seen what he can do if he just gets streaky and hot. He can carry a team.
Right. Look,
They'll
they got to
miss the
make some
defense.
changes because what's going out there right now is not working. It's a tough year for Ali Marmol. Like
I'll tell you what, it could be a lot worse. That's
It could.
That's
It
the
could.
thing I always, Cardinals fans, we like to complain a little bit, but we've got a pretty. We got a pretty.
Look how we grew up.
Could be
Look how we
Pittsburgh.
grew up. We
Could
were
be.
winners. We
Could be Cincinnati. Could be the Cubs up there. They're playing a little bit better.
Look, but when we're packing stadiums 40,000+ every year, fans deserve a little bit better.
I think it's gonna get better. I got a good feeling.
He's optimistic. We'll see. They need to make a trade for me.
Yeah, well, they need an arm for sure. At least one. Hopefully a couple. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Cardinals Plus. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.